Witness the everyday struggle for survival in untamed worlds. Stories of the animal universe come to life. Next on Wildlife Chronicles. Deep in the tropical waters of the Galapagos Islands resides the magnificent sperm whale, a species unchanged for over 30 million years. Sail with us and examine the characteristics of this mysterious mammal. Meet the most intelligent creature on Earth. Next.
They call it the biggest nose in the world. Its owner also possesses the biggest brain in the world. What it uses that huge brain for is still something of a mystery. As the dinosaurs demonstrated, you don't need an outsized brain just to control an outsized body. Next to man, the sperm whale may possibly be the most intelligent creature on Earth. During the past 150 years, almost all our knowledge of the sperm whale has been gathered by the very people who've done most to exterminate it, the whaling industry. Much of this whaling folklore is accurate, though necessarily superficial. Not surprisingly, it has been gleaned from dead sperm whales or whales seen on the surface. A sperm whale's spout distinguishes it from all other whales. It is forward and to the left. The spray shoots up at least 15 feet and can be seen 2 or 3 miles away. The single nostril, or blowhole, is situated to the left of center and well forward in what from this angle looks like a bump on the whale's nose. Sperm whales spend a good deal of their time at the surface, cruising together in pods of 20 or 30 animals. Though they're capable of moving much faster, their surface speed is usually around 3 to 4 knots, which has always made them an easy target for whalers' harpoons. So little is known about the sperm whale's life below the surface that it might almost be living on another planet. They dive almost vertically, driven by the largest tail fluke of any of the great whales. They're known to reach depths of over 3,000 meters. But how they find food down there, or manage to withstand the enormous water pressures, is a mystery. There's no doubt about their prey. Whalers know that their stomachs are filled with squid, great and small. Sucker marks on harpooned sperm whales have shown that they sometimes grapple in those dark depths with squid whose tentacles must be at least 15 feet long. The sperm whale has remained unchanged for 30 million years. It's the only large creature to have exploited the benthos, the uttermost depths of the ocean. It is so much a deep water species that it seems to have lost some of its adaptations for living in shallow water. Perhaps this is the reason why sperm whales often beach themselves. That huge head contains a reservoir of fine oil that turns to wax on cooling. When diving, the whale can vary the density of this wax by flooding its nasal tubes with water of different temperatures from different depths, and thus adjusts the buoyancy of its body. The first sperm whale on record was harpooned off the US Atlantic coast in 1712. Contemporary artists got the general shape right, but mistakenly gave the whale 2 blowholes. By the 1900s, Atlantic sperm whales were hunted out. They'd provided 4 million gallons of oil, not without cost. Whale boats and crews were often smashed to pieces by the sperm whale's tail flukes and toothed jaws. The death knell of the sperm whale came at the turn of the century with the arrival of fast steam catchers and modern harpoon guns. The Atlantic harvest was over. The slaughter spread further afield to other oceans of the world. Hunting reached a peak in 1963 when 30,000 sperm whales were killed. Recently, some controls and lack of sperm whales to hunt have given the species some respite. There is one place, however, where the sperm whales escaped this period of slaughter: the Galapagos Islands, 600 miles west of Ecuador. The area where the whales concentrate is quite a small one. It lies around the west side of the largest island, Isabella, and off its neighbor, Fernandina, north to a small, lonely islet called Roca Redonda. The sea here looks like any other part of the Pacific that surrounds the Galapagos archipelago. Beneath the blue surface, though, runs a cold east-flowing current called the Cromwell Current, which brings nutrients to the surface and produces food to support a wealth of marine life. This plenty attracts many species of predators, including sperm whales. The waters around the islands of Fernandina and Isabella are some of the richest in the tropical oceans. A few miles off Roca Redonda, the fish shoals attract a great leaping school of spinner dolphins. Conditions that suit the smaller toothed whales, and that's what spinner dolphins are, also suit the largest toothed cetaceans of all, the sperm whales. No one in recent times appreciated that sperm whales were present here in such numbers, until these scenes were filmed from an ultralight aircraft by cameraman Dieter Plager. Heading steadily for Roca Redonda, in the far distance, are two groups of 20 or more sperm whales. The fact that the whales today frequent this area in such numbers is due to one fortunate fact. During the great whale slaughter after World War II, the modern whaling fleet somehow overlooked Galapagos waters. But it hasn't always been that way. The old-time whalers knew all about what they called the Galapagos grounds. In 1793, Captain James Colnett of the British ship Rattler sailed round the Horn and found sperm whales here in great numbers. He recommended to British whalers the area between Fernandina and Roca Redonda, exactly where the sperm whales have been found today. The British took his advice, and the American New England whalers weren't slow to follow. The whales were mercilessly exploited. After 1850, the whaling captains reported the Galapagos were dry cruising, meaning that whale stocks were so depleted that the dangerous voyage around the Horn was no longer worthwhile. The whalers sailed away. Isabella and Roca Redonda were left in peace. Gradually, the whales once more discovered this sanctuary. It was 1985 before someone discovered them.
Wildlife Chronicles will return in a moment.
It's an all-new season coming this fall, only on the Discovery Channel. Hi. Nice looking dog.
Thanks.
What are you feeding him?
It's Advanced Nutrition Cycle.
Yeah, that's supermarket stuff, huh? Pete here gets Science Diet.
Actually, Cycle gives Shelby all the nutrition of Science Diet. Complex carbohydrates, polyunsaturated fats, highly digestible proteins.
Whoa. How do you know so much about dog food?
I'm a veterinarian.
Ah.
If it's good enough for your vet's dog, isn't it good enough for yours? Advanced Nutrition Cycle. Ask your vet.
From the director of Alien, Blade Runner, and Thelma and Louise comes a voyage beyond the horizon and the truth behind the adventure of 1492.
New world. It's a disaster.
Gerard Depardieu, Amanda Sante, and Sigourney Weaver in a Ridley Scott film. 1492, Conquest of Paradise. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 9th at theaters everywhere.
For anyone who ever travels on business, now there's AT&T teletravel service. A combination of calling features that gives you the power to turn virtually any phone into your office. It's easy. A toll-free number immediately connects you to AT&T. Then call across the country or across the world without hanging up between calls. Speed dial, set up a conference call, send or retrieve voice messages, and more at rates that could save you money. Call 1-800-544-2222, extension 18, to get AT&T teletravel service. All this for just a $10 annual fee. Then just pay for the features you use. And if you call by November 30th, you'll even get your $10 back. Call now and get the power to turn virtually any phone into your office.
They ruled our planet for 150 million years, then mysteriously disappeared. Now join the largest dinosaur hunt in history as scientists from Canada and China travel to the searing Gobi Desert, the Badlands of Alberta, and Canada's high Arctic in search of these primordial giants, in search of answers, in search of the dragon. Sunday beginning at 9 Eastern, only on Discovery Sunday.
We now return to Wildlife Chronicles.
In 1985, a new kind of whaling vessel appeared on the Galapagos grounds, the 35-foot sloop Elendil. Her skipper, Dr. Hal Whitehead, had sailed the Elendil across the Atlantic and through the Panama Canal to the Galapagos. Aboard her were 4 fellow scientists, 2 men and 2 women. Whitehead, a world expert on sperm whales, had taken his team to the Galapagos, drawn by the accounts of the old whaling skippers. Scientists to whom Whitehead talked before setting sail had been doubtful whether sperm whales would be there in any numbers. But Whitehead found them exactly where Captain Colnett had reported great concentrations 190 years earlier. Whitehead's aim was to stay with the whales constantly, keeping a day and night watch on them, to learn about their social structure and the interaction between females and the large males. Individual whales can be identified by body markings and the shape of their tail flukes. Gradually, the Elendil's crew built up a dossier that enabled them to recognize 220 whales. Though there are several true accounts of sperm whales sinking quite large ships, the crew of the Elendil found them to be gentle. It seems likely that sinkings have been the result of ships colliding with sleeping whales. This huge male was no more than interested when he swam alongside and eventually submerged.
There must be at least 50.
When whales were close, the scientists sometimes snorkeled behind the boat. Hal Whitehead records, although from the deck the whales appeared like a raft of inanimate logs, beneath the surface they were revealed as extraordinarily flexible, tactile and tender animals. We saw them gracefully turn to watch us with deep, blinking eyes, gently stroke one another with their small flippers, or nuzzle a smooth, bulbous brow against a vast, wrinkled flank. So little is known about sperm whales that everything that can be learned, even at this late stage, may contribute to bringing them back from the brink to which centuries of commercial overkill have brought them. When a whale dived, leaving the calm patch known as a footprint on the surface, the aftermath of turbulence caused by the downward drive of its tail, echo-sounding apparatus followed its progress. There is no echo sounder, however, that can follow a whale 3 miles down. So directional hydrophones were used to keep in touch.
It's at 1,500 feet.
When feeding below the surface, each whale transmits a highly personalized series of clicks at about the rate of 1 a second. These clicks are thought to be a means of locating the giant squid on which sperm whales largely feed. Hal Whitehead found that they could detect the bearing of a clicking whale at a range of 5 miles and then set course and speed to intercept it when it surfaced. A year or two before, Whitehead had sailed the Elendil to the Indian Ocean to study sperm whales off Sri Lanka. He developed these techniques for following whales there, but the monsoons made the seas too rough for observation during 6 months of the year. The clarity and comparative calm of Galapagos waters now proved ideal. The voyage of the Elendil may look like a tropical pleasure cruise, but appearances belie the seriousness of its purpose. The data amassed in 3 months, and the hard work, not to say endurance, involved. A 35-foot sloop is a small living space for 5 people. The research voyage entailed nearly 2,000 hours of night and day whale following and watching. 5 minutes in every hour was spent recording whale clicks. Domestic chores, including bread making, were shared by whoever was off watch at the time.
Can you repeat that, please?
Wildlife Chronicles will return in a moment. Roger Kennedy's Rediscovering America explores the legend and mystique of the real American cowboy. Monday at 8 Eastern, only on the Discovery Channel.
The suspension system in the Oldsmobile 98 is engineered to provide you with a level of comfort that's virtually unheard of. The 98 from Oldsmobile. The power of intelligent engineering.
No one has to tell you that doing business today is more challenging than ever. But all over the world, one company is helping you meet those challenges head on, no matter what it takes. New challenges, new thinking.
Tales of Nature, capturing wildlife at its most wild, exploring its diversity, and showing how animals interact with each other and with us. It's an all-new season this fall, only on the Discovery Channel.
In a few days, the government may hand you a new law. It was intended to protect consumers from higher cable TV rates. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. It's loaded with special interests that could increase your cable rates. If you don't want that to happen, call this number now. 1-202-224-3121. If you don't, you could be the one getting soaked. There are only a few days left. Call your senators and congressmen now. Tell them to stop the bill that will raise your cable TV bill.
Just when I need someone to love me, just when I think the world's too cold, there you are, right there beside me. There you are in my heart, standing by me once again.
Sheba, because you cherish your cat.
We now return to Wildlife Chronicles.
So what was achieved by the crews of the Elendil on the Galapagos sperm whale grounds? To begin with, a number of whales were identified through photography so that their individual behavior and relationships in the group could be studied. Their dive cycles were firmly established, confirming the old-time whalers' rule that for every foot of its length, a sperm whale breathes once at the surface and spends 1 minute submerged. Thus, a 50-foot whale blows about 50 times and then goes down for up to 50 minutes. On surfacing, the whales sometimes breach, leaping clear of the water. It's thought that they do this to let their companions know where they are. Perhaps the major conclusion that Hal Whitehead and his team reached was that sperm whales are highly sociable animals. The whales quite obviously like to get together at least once a day, cruising at 2 to 3 knots on a parallel course in a phalanx several kilometers wide. 200 females and calves were identified, moving in 13 stable groups. It was already known that the females spend most of their time in the tropics, while the males depart for much of the year to far northern or southern waters. They return to the female herds to mate. Off the Galapagos, Hal Whitehead had a chance to study the interaction of males with females. Surprisingly, he found no aggression or territorial behavior among possible rival males. Whitehead and his researchers found only 7 mature bulls in the seas around Roca Redonda. There's a big bull at the center of this female group. The average time that any of these bulls spent with a party of females was about 6 hours. From this, the team deduced that bulls conduct their sex lives as a series of brief encounters, rather than staying with and controlling a large harem of females. The fact that they found only a small number of bulls like this one may be due to overhunting in the past. It was the big bulls that were the whalers' prime target. Whitehead is more inclined to think that the bulls don't breed every year and take a year off to build up their energies for the next breeding season. It must be emphasized that the cruise of the Ellendale, though it broke much new ground, was really only a reconnaissance of a very promising new study area. The facts discovered on this voyage, and voyages planned for the future, will undoubtedly add to the knowledge that may yet help to save what is left of the world's sperm whales. For instance, it's vital to know the proportion of mature males, like this one, needed to consort with a female group to keep the population steady, let alone on the increase. What is absolutely certain is that scientific study of the species will be of no avail unless a complete ban on the hunting of sperm whales can be imposed for at least the next 50 years. Even if that can be done among nations who are members of the International Whaling Commission, there's little chance that nations outside the Commission will comply.
Mondays at 9 Eastern, you'll be dazzled by some of our finest documentaries. Take a closer look at nature, history, science, and more. It's something different every week. Join us for Discovery Showcase. You're watching the Discovery Channel.
My glasses drive me crazy. They're always slipping at the wrong time. They never stay where I put them.
You don't have to put up with glasses that don't fit anymore, because at LensCrafters we have so many ways to fit your snug points. With features like snug fit hinges that flex to keep their lasting fit. And your glasses will be ready in about an hour. How's that?
Real secure. Finally, comfortable glasses that keep their fit.
LensCrafters will match any competitor's price.
I really try to breed a dog who is beautiful and also has a great deal of hunting instinct.
Tom Wilson, top breeder of champion Weimaraners.
In any field competition, he's expected to go out and hunt and go back into the show ring another day. It's really important that the dog be bred right and then be fed right. Pedigree meat and the pedigree mealtime dry mixed together is the best combination I've ever found for my dogs. Pedigree has been a winning dog food for me.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
The next episode of Beekman's World is really bizarre. Visit the incredibly large planet Jupiter.
How large is it?
It's so large you'll be squashed by Jupiter's gravity, while Beekman's lost in space where gravity means nothing.
Is there anything that defies gravity?
How about that funky hairdo Beekman's sporting?
On the next Beekman's World.
Wednesday at 8 on the Learning Channel.